I like to start my day off by getting outside and getting all the chores done. I just find that it's much better to start the day off by getting what needs to be done knocked off the to-do list. This also is really good to just get out and see all the animals early in the day, just in case there's any issues or anything that needs to be taken care of. You have the entire day to do that. So I thought for this week's video, I would take you guys along for my morning routine here on the farm. This morning routine looks different during each different season, and it really just depends on what animals we have at the time, and it really just depends on what all we have going on around the farm. So right now we have meat chickens out on pasture. We recently added pigs to the farm, and we still have our laying hens and the main cattle herd. So this is the season when we just have a lot more going on. I really don't mind all of these chores. I actually really like the busyness that comes with this season. It's just a great way to spend a whole lot of time outside, especially now that the weather has gotten so nice for spring, and I'm really looking forward to summer. I want to give you guys a quick update on Lori, our milk cow. So she right now is just staying in our bull pasture with our breeding bulls. The lady that I purchased my milk cow from said that she needed to be on at least 10 pounds of grain a day in order to be prepared for calving. And these are our younger bulls that I'm also feeding every day to help them grow. So I just put her out here with them so it's easy to take care of her and check on her. But in a few weeks, she will be ready to calve, and these bulls will be ready to go out to pasture with the main cow herd. So hopefully in a few weeks, I will be sharing a calving update on Lori and adding milking into my morning routine. This is the season when we will start to have a lot of fresh vegetables rolling in from the garden. We just planted our tomatoes and our peppers, and one of our big goals for this year is to be really good about preserving everything so that nothing goes to waste. Having a reliable vacuum sealer is going to be a very important tool for us this summer to make sure we have a way to preserve all of this fresh produce. So that is why I am thankful for the sponsor of this week's video, and that is Fresko Sealers. The Fresko Automax Vacuum Sealer V8 is simple to use and has flawless results every time. All you have to do is simply place the bag under the baffle and close the lid. The programmed cycle starts automatically, hands-free, and no pressing extra buttons. This ensures a perfect consistent seal and vacuum. There is also a pulse back function which allows you to manually control the air content in the bag. This works perfect for juicier ingredients, ensuring that there is no leakage. I plan to harvest all of my tomatoes this year and then quickly prepping them for the freezer by dicing them and then vacuum packing them. My plan is to get them out in the winter time when things slow down and make sauces and can them later on. So having this vacuum sealer is going to be the perfect tool for those juicy tomatoes coming out of my garden. I will be able to properly put them away in the freezer until I have time to can them later on in the season. So this vacuum sealer is going to get a lot of use this summer. More features include the external suction for vacuum containers and canisters, a built-in cutter for customizable bag length, and the self-locking lid for effortless operation, and a secure fit. There are just so many reasons why having a reliable vacuum sealer is such an essential kitchen tool. I am really looking forward to using my sealer and staying on top of all of the fresh produce this summer. If you are also wanting to add this essential tool to your kitchen, be sure to follow the link in my description to purchase the Automax V8 sealer for yourself. Thank you so much to Fresko for sponsoring this week's video. Last week, I shared with you guys how we are going to be moving our chickens out to pasture. And now that they've been on pasture for a week, I'm going to show you guys my daily routine of taking care of them and moving their chicken tractors forward to fresh grass every day. These chickens, much like all animals, when you get them outside to fresh air and on good, clean pasture, they just start to do really well. So we got them out when they're about 2 weeks old, and they're going to be raised out here until they're about 8 weeks old, and then we'll take them to a local family-owned processor to be processed, and that's the chicken that I sell through my website and at the farmer's market all summer long. We're doing about 375 of these, so there are 75 chickens per tractor. And I explained in my last video why this system works really well to give these animals really adequate space. This tractor moves forward every day, so they are getting good, clean pasture every day, and they have plenty of room in these tractors, even though they look a bit crowded. I have comments usually on that, but you have to remember this tractor moves forward every day, so they always have a new clean space. And then I just fill their feeders up with fresh feed, the buckets with fresh water, and they're good to go for an entire day. This chore doesn't take me very long, and it's just a really good system, a really healthy system for raising chickens out on pasture like this. It never seems like I can quite get all of our chores done before we need to take a break and come back inside for some breakfast. So we're actually not really early risers this time of year, and that's because with the longer hours, we stay outside so much later in the evenings. A lot of times we don't come in until right before dark and start dinner and doing the whole wind down bedtime routine. So as a result of that, my kids don't wake up super early. So none of this is happening very early in the morning. When I'm saying our morning routine, I mean this is pretty much what we do from about 8 to about noon during our days. Just kind of go about doing all of these chores, coming back inside, taking a break for some breakfast, and then getting back out and finishing up. I kind of structure my day this way on purpose, and that way we can spend as much time outside before afternoon nap, and then having all of those chores done makes it to where I can spend that block of afternoon time inside just keeping up with some household tasks. This morning we decided to make some fresh milled blueberry pancakes to go along with our sausage and eggs. I always try to eat a lot of protein right away in the morning, and the kids don't always eat scrambled eggs as well. So I always try to make pancakes or waffles, something that I can add a lot of those eggs back into the batter, and of course they eat them really well covered in butter and syrup.
I'll come back. I'll come back over there.
Now that we are back into the growing season and grazing our cattle, it has become a part of our daily routine to move them to a new section of grass. So we do a lot of rotational grazing on our farm, and it is always our goal to try to graze our cattle as long into the growing season and then even into the winter months as we possibly can. Over the years, we have learned more and more about soil health and improving our farm and our pasture ground. And with all that, we found that moving the cows as often as possible is really the key. We have seen so many benefits from grazing this way and implementing cover crops. And this year, we put out a new cover crop that had a lot of flowering plants, something really good for the bees and pollinators, but also something our cattle have really been enjoying as well. I shared a lot more about the cover crops and what we were doing with this portion of the farm in my last week's video. We only have about 3 or 4 days left of grazing out here before the cows will go back on to our permanent pastures. Because this part of the farm is getting developed into more permanent pasture ground, we still don't have the permanent infrastructure out here. So every time that I move them, I also have to go about, move their mineral feeder, drain their water, and move that portable water tank along with them. So that way they have fresh mineral and cold water in every paddock. So even though it's a little bit more of a chore, I still really enjoy having the cattle out here on the cover crops. I think they just are looking so good. They're really thriving out here. They're enjoying this different type of forage. And as soon as we move them on to our regular cool season grasses, like our native grasses that grow here in Missouri, they'll be going back to those regular pastures. We will actually come back out to this cover crop field and plant another summer annual. So they're going to take about a month or two off from this portion of the farm, go graze our regular pasture ground. But as soon as that summer annual is ready, they will be back out here just enjoying a different type of forage again. And the annual that we're planning to plant is going to grow really fast, so we'll probably get a lot of re-grazing out of it. It's something that we started doing on the farm a couple years ago, and we found that it just really works. It offers more variety to our cattle for grazing, and it extends our grazing season. So now that the water and mineral and the cattle are all moved, I'm just putting back up my electric fence, turning it on, and they are good to go for the day. All of the chores got done this morning. We made it back inside for a nap time, and now I'm just going to show you guys a typical late afternoon, evening here on our farm. This is actually a different day, but we decided to come back out this afternoon and do a little bit of work in our garden. So here's a quick little garden update. I just showed you all of our cool season beds. We got our last bed covered with a tarp so that we can start killing off our winter cover crop and then plant more into it. And today we are going to dump the load of compost that we recently picked up from a local nursery, and we're going to get our tomatoes and peppers in the ground. The garden for us is a place for experimenting and learning new things. We love gardening, we love growing things. We don't have any part of this as part of our business like we do with all of the animals. So we really feel the freedom to just come out here, try some new methods, see what works for us. We do have some goals for our garden. We're trying to do things as organically as possible. And we also are trying to grow as much food as possible and try to get us to be almost completely self-sufficient on produce. So I'm really trying to be on top of harvesting this summer and preserving so that we can have produce throughout the entire winter time. Because we don't treat the garden as a business, it really is something we just enjoy doing in our free time. We put a lot of work into this garden, but I just love what it adds to the aesthetics of the farm. It's so pretty out here. And after a busy day of doing chores, I love to just come out to the garden, see all the plants growing, pick a few weeds, water them, and harvest stuff. So that's something that we really look forward to all summer long. Last year, we kind of took the quantity approach to the garden and we didn't have the best results. It honestly just got very overwhelming. So this year, we're trying to narrow down our focus. I know our garden looks huge, but our big goal is to try to focus on the crops that we're growing, really give them what they need, and try to get a really good harvest out of everything, and then not let everything go to waste by staying on top of preserving. So we will see how we do with that this summer. I can't wait for all of this to start really growing and taking off. I plan to share more garden updates with you guys in the future. For now, I hope you guys enjoyed going through my kind of morning routine, daily routine here on the farm, and I look forward to sharing with you guys more next week. Thank you so much for watching.